Yeah, that's good too. All right, so let's get into Stryker versus Oya on the map D's E-Ray, which I call the Spore map, just to piss off Freakling.
The Spore map.
Yeah, he comes up with really fancy, sophisticated names because he thinks he's better than us.
Yeah, I checked it up there. It's in ecclesiastical Latin for day of.
And then I'm over
for
here
day of judgment.
with like bad map and other stupid names.
You can't even write the map name, like the letter. Is it R or A? It's like a weird character. And it's pronounced like D's Ere or something like that.
Yeah,
I love you,
it's
Freakling.
ecclesiastical Latin. It's from the the term's escaping me, but basically like it's like a funeral, but it's not. But it's like a liturgical funeral basically, and D's Ere would be it's like a passage or setting.
All right,
So-
well,
I'm not that good with Catholic liturgy terms, but
that's why we call it the Spore map, because there's spores at the entrance, and that helps spread creep for the Zergies if they want to wall off there.
So I'm assuming that the expansion here is a back door.
Great point. Yeah, so that's another interesting feature about this map is a backdoor expansion, and they may be difficult to defend according to LML. We have been playtesting it.
I don't understand this map by looking at it. Okay, so basically there's a backdoor expansion that's walled off by minerals of another expansion, correct?
Yes, I think you're right.
Okay. I wonder if anyone has tried to shove some vultures in back there. That'd be really rough to play against.
Yes, they have. So we've had several show matches organized on this. What I've tried to do is get our tournament players to play on it a lot as a way to force them to test out the map, get used to it, because the 5-game format we have in our tournament, there are 2 maps by Freakling. This is one of them. The other one is called Demonio Azul, which means blue demon, I think. I call it the devil map because, well, I think there's a demon in the middle.
Okay.
The other maps are Eclipse, Sylphid, and Polypoid.
Yeah, and these trees, are they purely aesthetic or do they block vision?
They block vision.
They do. Oh, that's so annoying. Oh no. Okay. Okay, so I think I've got a grasp on that. And meanwhile, we have the Gateway expansion coming out from Oyaji. We have fast expand from Stryker as well. The pool is done more than on time to deal with that Zealot. Seems like a pretty standard opening.
yeah, he's got his third, so yeah.
Yeah. Oyaji probably favored in this matchup, correct? Oh, and nice pullback by Stryker. Saves the drone, kills the probe, and now the Zealot stuck behind the mineral lines. Gonna be a little bit annoying, but should be cleaned up. He's not really focusing.
Okay.
Yeah, he definitely could have killed a couple Zerglings if he just focused the injured one, but he was probably focused somewhere else, which is probably better for it too. Once you put a Zealot behind the mineral line like that, you usually just leave it be.
We've got 2 more coming here.
Yeah, but this isn't
he got
going to
plenty
do
of
anything. This is just a free gift. He just needs to surround it and kill it now. I don't really like that from Oyaji. He probably could have kept those at home and just waited to have a better force. Of course, he doesn't necessarily know that Stryker continued to build more Zerglings, so it's a bit unfortunate. Still going to be a little bit annoying in the main. He gets a drone. Okay, that's a little bit more worth it now, but maybe Stryker can run into the main there.
I thought maybe he would, but
yeah, is that tight at the top? I seem to remember thinking whether seeing a game of True Touch against Terror on this map where I'm like, is that tight? And then it's like, no, not at all.
So if you destroy the spore, it's unbuildable terrain down there, so you wouldn't be able to pass by it. if you were the
Mhm.
aggressor.
Okay.
I'm sure Protoss players don't get much practice knowing if a spore next to a gateway is a hard wall.
Yeah. Indeed.
You can sort of see a round shape underneath the spore.
Yeah,
to tip it
yeah.
out.
something underneath it.
But yeah, I don't think many players will be able to tell.
It's a cool map though. Like we were talking earlier about underrepresented tile sets, and volcanic is one we don't see much of.
Yeah. I think that I think that vision blockers are something we don't see much of for good reason, though.
They are annoying.
Yeah, it makes it very, like, it just makes it more difficult to play. Like, you just need to basically guess what's on the other side in a lot of situations,
I
which
think
doesn't
you really
necessarily.
need to be able to recognize it and take advantage of it. So
Yeah,
sometimes
but
we just play the game, especially lower ranks, without paying attention to map details. Like
yeah.
I'll be on the low ground and not really realizing that I'm attacking on the low ground.
Does he have enough links to stop this from?
Yeah, it's overwhelming in number of links. This is not a good attack from Wayne. Some good micro, but like all the micro in the world is not going to save you from that many Zerglings. So I'm not. He gets a drone, but like he's traded like 9
Four
zealots so
for
far, but like
2
in
links.
total, like if you think about all the zealots he lost, if he just conserved those, he's got like a significant force that requires sunkens to be built, you know?
Yeah.
So a little bit of like mismanagement of resources almost from Oya. Oya obviously a very strong player. I know back in the day, PVZ was his weaker matchup. He was especially known for proxy gates, but from what I saw recently of the major tournaments, he seems to have rounded out his play quite a bit.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Great guy. Big shout out to Oya and Stryker as well. This is
He's
a
just
best of
now
7,
getting,
game 1, guys.
He's just now picking up Hydra speed and attack and Overlord speed all at once. So I don't know if Stryker missed something, but he's totally fine.
Yeah, Stryker, he's just going for a standard 5-hatch play, right? I think this
Yeah.
is the correct timing for 5-hatch anyway. He's trying to go in and snipe a Corsair. I don't think he got one, so that's a bit unfortunate for him.
Oh, and he went Spire too. That would explain why. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then he went Spire to see if he could snipe an early Corsair. Oya is macroing exceptionally well, right? So this, even though he lost a bunch of Zealots early on, he killed a couple of drones. I don't think this attack is going to do much either. But he does get another drone. He kills a few Zerglings. What's he getting? 3 drones. Okay, this is actually quite worth it. I think he kills like 5 drones now. So 5 drones in total for an attack of about 6 zealots. He's going to run in here, see that there's no way he's going to do any damage, should retreat with those zealots, and that's exactly what he does. But now Zerg is into Hydra production. So any drone kills that he got in that last attack are insanely valuable because those are just extra Hydras that are not on the field.
Right.
But Stryker's looking very safe right now, and Oya is probably going to go up to 8 gateways very shortly, and I get the feeling he's probably going to go for a 2 base push, which is very strong in the current meta. I don't know why he's killing. I guess is there
He
any
thinks you
benefit
can
to him
probably
killing them
pass
for?
by it. That's my only guess.
Well, he might just be testing it, right? Because I don't know if he would necessarily know. He might think that there's nothing there. Yeah, he thought
he
there
just
was nothing
missed that.
there. He thought that he could probably walk next to it.
Yeah, so it looks like he's just gonna move out with a bunch of zealots, try to sneak a DT. through during the confusion. Pick off a bunch of boobies.
So now we're getting dragoons. There should be a robo, I assume, because he's getting the dragoons for the eventual lurkers and just to round out his army, of course. But yeah, after this round of dragoons is done, he's gonna have a pretty sizable force.
He needs to be careful though, because if he gets slightly out of position, those Hydras can get the High Templar.
Yeah, you
Like-
have. Yeah.
Yeah, like if I were there, I mean, many times if I see that, I am immediately trying to send a small group of Hydras just to fish around to see if I can find some lagging High Templar or whatnot.
That's a
'Cause, I mean,
very
if you
good
trade
start.
off like even just a controlled group of Hydras, but get like all his High Templar, you take like all the wind out of the sails.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worth it if you can kill off the High Templar. But he lost a lot of Hydralisk to Storms, and now Oya is going to take the high ground. His Dragoons have come in, so I don't think the Hydras can push up to kill those two remaining High Templar.
No. He doesn't have Lurker Tech yet either, so he doesn't have a way to turn those. You know, they just have to heal naturally.
I think he researched it. But I don't think he has any lurkers. I seem to remember seeing it on the production tab.
He got supply blocked, I think. 'Cause he's got 6 Overlords secured.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a. Okay,
Yeah,
this
but
is a boat.
a bit of a blunder from Stryker. He doesn't target the Templar. Like, he got the opportunity, but he was probably looking somewhere else. And now these lurker eggs right on top of the Protoss army. This, yeah, so he did have it researched, but this is not a good situation for Stryker to be in. I don't know if there's an observer though, so
no
maybe
observer,
at the
so.
hatch. Can you storm everything? No, he's just gonna run. Not enough High Templar. But you see, like, he already didn't have enough High Templar. If he just sniped those two High Templar when his Hydra got up to the high ground uncontested, you know, that fight could have gone completely differently.
Well, he hasn't
instead-
taken. Stryker has not taken any economic damage, so he's free to just keep on. In fact, he's taking a 4th base there up top, but he's free to keep pumping out Hydras.
Yeah, he hasn't taken any economic damage, but he also doesn't have the economy to contend with the Protoss. Just because the Zerg doesn't develop the economy as much early on, and he lost a lot of Hydralisk, which, you know, we think of them as this expendable unit, but you lose a lot of them, and all of a sudden, like, you don't have you don't have the economy because you focus on building Hydras, and you don't have the Hydras to ensure your defense. So I'm not sure what these goons are doing, but those are going to be free.
Yeah. Anytime you get a chance to trade goons for Hydras, or Hydras for goons, I think you take it.
Yeah, Oya has a very interesting split on his army. See how he had it like basically all over the place? I'm not sure that Stryker really picked up on this, but there we go, good game. There's just way too much for Oya. He was able to hold on to everything at once, but maybe if he like found an opening to go on part of the army, it could have worked for him if he went a little bit earlier.
I didn't really like Stryker's choice of battleground either. He was out on the map about halfway, or even slightly on.
Well,
he pulled all the way back to right in front of his main, and then he took a fight there and then got stormed. I feel like he really needed to spread out a little bit or fight on the high ground well outside the base.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he was trying to make use of the map by going there and waiting behind the shade. But like, the funny thing about that is, for one, the Protoss has Corsairs, and two, like, if you wait behind that wall, you just get stormed to oblivion.
Yeah,
It's
you don't even
like-
see the High Templar there. So
Yeah. I think it kind of, that moment there kind of demonstrates maybe the player was incorrectly using the map feature, or maybe the map feature would be better purposed at a different spot on the map. But
Right.
like when you're attacking into the main base, you're going to have some form of aerial detection. You're going to have, AoE. So like having that feature right outside the main at that stage of the game doesn't make a difference. And we saw Stryker try to use it, but he just like basically gets stuck back there.
Chocolate.
But yeah, maybe we'll see some other creative uses of that feature that are going to work out a little bit better. I think it maybe works out better if you're on the offensive and the player doesn't know that you're coming. I don't know.
That's the feeling I get too. Like if you're standing, like it's designed in such a way. I don't really get why, as a defender, you would be standing at the bottom of your ramp trying to utilize a vision blocker when
Yeah,
you should be on
exactly.
the high ground back a little ways behind your wall. Whereas the attacker is like, oh, I have a vision blocker outside at the bottom of their ramp. It feels like it's more of a, like you said, advantage to the attacker.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how. Like, I think I need to see a few more examples of people actually trying to use it successfully, because I'm not 100% sure how that's supposed to work. But it definitely feels like it's a very early game thing, and it favors mainly the attacker. Because as soon as you are required to have shuttles and observers and, well, for Zerg, I guess overlords. But like as soon as you have any air units, it's completely a non-factor.
He's going for is that a 5 pool?
I think this is the first time that an S
7
ranker has
Yeah, it's a 5 pool.
pulled.
5
I do
pool.
not see that very often.
Well, it's a gateway first. He's going to be the second scout. So the probe is going to see it. He's going to know to keep the zealot at home. I don't think this is going to work for Stryker. He only has 2. He only has 4 Zerglings building.
So Stryker knows where Oya is, and Oya is about to find out.
He had to wait for the overlord.
He's gonna try to sunken him. Like he's only got 4 Zerglings on a 5 pool. This is not gonna do anything, right?
He's got 6.
No, there's 2 of them that are building. See, the 2 that just popped out are late. He's got a shield battery.
He didn't have the
wall.
overlord built in
probes.
time.
So he's gonna have a shield battery. He's gonna have a zealot. He's gonna have a full wall. Killing the spore is not gonna do anything.
He doesn't know that yet.
Oh, but Oya doesn't know it either.
Oh, nice around.
Oh no. So this is actually very interesting about the players playing a map they're not overly familiar with, is that Oya doesn't know that killing the spore is going to give him nothing, right? But anyways, it's repelled quite easily.
Well, I think last game Oya did destroy Spore and probably noticed.
Yeah, but he saw the Zerglings attacking the spore and he moved out with the Zealot, which normally you wouldn't do.
I mean, that's true, and I'm not sure why, but...
Yeah. But easy hold from Oya. I'm not sure exactly what happened that caused there to be only 4 initial links. I'm not sure if it mattered either, because cross spawns and Oya scouted him early.
If he hadn't walled off, there might have been some damage that there could have been.
Oh yeah, but the Protoss is always going to wall on this map, because even if you go for a 1 base play, you're walling because the natural is behind you, right? So like Protoss naturally walls regardless of their build, and there's some nice pickoffs on the probes there. Maybe if he gets the speedlings in, but he loses them. So, and he's committing to more speedlings, so he's still on 6 drones. GG.
Never seen that before, but I guess
Well,
when you're playing
you
a best
can-
of 7, you can throw in a surprise build like that.
yeah, sure. I mean, you kind of like. I mean, it's not really done for good reason, right? It's that Gateway first is pretty popular, so they're always going to have a zealot. They're always going to have a wall, especially on that map. It's so easy to get a complete wall on that map. Like, you have a forge and a gateway, and you already have a complete wall. You know?
All right. So we're going into game 3. It's 2-0 for Oya. He needs 4 wins to win this best of 7. The map is D's E-Ray by Freakling, featured in our future tournaments. So Oya has consistently been in a different position of the map so far.
And Stryker has always been in the same position. This is the positions have been like really weird tonight. Like Cryok and Raz. Wait, what? Raz?
Yeah.
What they were in the same positions the entire time, every game.
Yeah, this is at least giving us some. Well, strikers spawn that position every game, but Imba, he's been just rotating.
Yeah, I like this. I like these spawns for Zerg. I think that close by air is just like really good for Zerg. I mean it'd be even better if it was a ZVT, but they're because the naturals are both pocket naturals and the naturals are in the corner of the map. It means like they're going the main bases in vertical spawns are going to be much closer than in any other spawn. So Oya gateway first, hatchery first for Stryker. Looks like it's an 11 hatch. Is there? Do you know the reasoning for going 11 hatch over, say, 12 hatch? Like, what does that extra worker cost you?
It's a great question for A-Buck.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I was looking away for a second. Whoa.
Do you know why you would go for an 11 hatch as opposed to like hatch on 12?
Yeah,
A-Buck,
against
tell us.
Terran, yeah, usually on Terran you'll go for a 12 hatch. Against Toss, usually go overpool, and 11 hatch is like the slightly more economic or greedier version of the opening, but you can't usually go 12. I think really the main reason is just that small difference in time of getting your pool up will matter. Because if you go 11 hatch, your pool is. You probably are going to have to drone micro just to not lose a drone. Because the Zealot will probably be there before your Lings are out. Because, yeah, you're seeing right here. The Lings start right as the Zealot walks in. So,
Yeah.
11 hatch is nice, but against this gateway first opening, you have to do this.
And Oya's committing. He's got a second gateway. He's
This is
not
a Stryker. Just joined the cast.
Hello.
Hey there.
Hey. So yeah, 11 hatch is better against gate first because yeah, you get the pool earlier.
Right.
I love it. Thank you for joining us, Stryker.
Yeah, thanks.
This map is kind of crazy though because the distance are so close that even 11 hatch isn't early enough.
Yeah, I was actually commenting that on the distance by air seems too close for like Zerg versus Zerg, Zerg versus Terran. Like if you are in close spawns in ZVZ and you didn't go for an early layer, it seems like very hard. But like focusing more on this game, you're even like gateways, it's pretty close to the main and it's very low risk play for Protoss to go for this.
Yeah, I think this map, the land distances are too close. Like, Protoss should always open 2-gate here and then get an easy second base, like, behind the net, behind the main, without much risk.
Yeah, because now he just sits back. He's got 3 zealots at home, 4 zealots it looks like actually, and he's got a significant economic lead.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's a good response for this. Like, the 11 hatch is not early enough. You might have, I think overpull is sort of forced,
Mhm.
and
I-
then you're just a little bit behind because you need to make a lot of lings.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the 11 hatch does help you too, because you get the number of links fast. But I don't know.
Yeah, but like, I
it's
had to
the
drill like a couple times, and that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, and you're not mining, and it's just.
Oh, and this is not tight. That's
Ooh.
interesting.
Oh, and in the game before this, I like accidentally built an overlord, so I only had 4 lings. That might have cost me the game because like
Yeah.
I barely like wasn't able to kill the zealot because of the shield battery. And if I had 6 lings, I probably would have been able to take it out.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay, so
I
that's what
know
it was. I saw you making the overlord, so I thought maybe you had just forgotten to make it earlier in the build or something. That's what. Okay.
we were looking at that, and I was like, oh, there's only 4 links. This is not the play.
Yeah, that was a big mistake.
But one thing I also noticed is that your links were able to run by the gateway here, and you're able to get a lot of damage in the main. Whereas on the other expansion, I think it was tight
Yeah,
with
it
the
was
gateway.
tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
weird. Sometimes in some places it's tight, and sometimes in some
yeah,
places I think it's not. So that's probably needs to be
it's
fixed.
it's pretty hard as a mapper to deal with doodads like being tight and not tight in different locations. I'll just put it in the chat actually while I'm thinking about it.
It was, I guess, the top of the gateway isn't tight with the spore, but the side of it is.
Yeah, well, no, the top is tight on the right side. That's I don't really know what happened.
Yeah, it's not tight on some locations. It's just inconsistent.
This always feels bad as a Zerg player. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Zerg for sure.
Stryker, you haven't gotten a chance to talk to Freakling over voice.
Nope, he hasn't gotten back to me.
Alright, maybe I'll try to mediate that. So the mapmaker has offered to listen to feedback and try to make revisions.
He did say he was gonna try to fix the this map a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, there's a number of things I think is hard for players to work with. One of them being the balance stuff with the close spawns and distances. But another one is like the pathing from the back net into like other places on the map. They just get stuck on the minerals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've
'Cause
had that problem too on some of the like testing or play testing maps, where sometimes something I'll just find like units bugged out on like the edge of a cliff or something. Like what?
it's like playing on Outsider.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
Can
lot of
be-
the popular
can
maps that
glitch.
people play on, I think, like Fighting Spirit, Circuit Breaker, they have like technical issues and bugs, like vortices and stuff, but people have generally learned to play around them. I'm not
Well,
sure if the map makers have the technical knowledge to fix it. Having said that, there are probably better balanced aspects of those maps that make it more comfortable for players to
Well,
adapt their builds and strategies to.
I think the thing is that the like any bugs that have existed on Fighting Spirit and Barrett, like there's been a ton of variations of the map as far as not different maps, but as far as like different patches, I guess. Like
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 Freakling has
there's,
edited
like,
it, and we're actually
yeah.
using edited versions of the 3 that we've chosen: Sylphid, Polypoid, and Eclipse, which all the players voted for. But
But yeah, the difference is like a ramp vortex, you'll maybe run into it once every like 50 games, whereas like
right, there's
something
certain
that's
aspects
tight
that is
or not
just
tight is going to be
an
every
issue
single
within the
game,
game.
especially if you're Zerg, right? Because you have to open Zerglings because the spawns are close. and then depending on where your opponent spawns, you may or may not get into the main.
Welcome, Why I'm Noob, who's joined the voice chat. We got an open cast invite, folks, so get your asses in here. I just want to thank Stryker for not just joining us and casting, but also playing on new maps and offering feedback. And a big shout out to all the players in our Discord who have accepted to play on new maps. I think that's like a really significant development because, you know, they're new
Well,
maps. People aren't used to
think-
them.
I think it's also super important given that Korean leagues are no longer exclusive, right? So they're inviting people, Korean and non-Korean, to create maps for the new content that's coming out. So it's not just something that, you know, it used to be if you made a map, whether you were a foreigner or not, nobody would ever play it, right? But like now there's actually a legitimate chance that if you actually develop more talent in the map making space, that the games and the content produced even at the pro level is going to be more interesting.
I'm glad you see that. My little spiel, no jabs intended at players, but I think foreign map makers can compete with their Korean counterparts. If I'm not wrong, Koreans have dominated the popular map domain since Python. I think that was made by Korean. And you have Fighting Spirit and Circuit Breaker and Polypoid and Eclipse. And here at Team ThinkWick, we're encouraging map makers, foreign ones, to make as standard, comfortable, simple maps as possible so that they're easily accepted by not just foreigners but Koreans, and getting them into foreign leagues and events. But I think it's a really cool aspect that we have, where we got these map makers and they're making maps and they're engaging with players and talking about map making. So
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite things about our community. So let's get into game 4. I think it's 3-0 for Oya. Is Stryker gonna get knocked out in this best of 7?
Guess we'll see.
No spoilers.
Okay, so Stryker is not in the same position in game 4.
He had to get out of the way so
Yeah.
the Protoss could be in every position for the first 4 games.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Oya, I think, circled
Interesting.
around, didn't he?
They are in close spawns again though, so Stryker's Overlord will get there on time to inform Oyaji that he needs to go to gate.
Well, unless he's really quick with pulling the Ubi back. But I don't know. I think the vision range off Nexus is too wide. So never mind.
Well, I mean, he's also going to be sending out a probe to build stuff. So, but anyways, he also needs to scout the expansion. So the Overlord's going to go all the way up, right? But yeah, so Oya going out to scout the top right, it looks like. He's not going to find anything there. But we'll probably see a gateway first, as we've seen in the other games this series. And I'm guessing that we're probably going to see an overpull from Stryker. But there we go.
He got tired of the
Well,
shenanigans.
yeah. I mean, like after you go through a game with the 2-gate, you're like, you have to do the overpull, right? Because like it's the same map, it's the same potential of close spawns, and you know it's close spawns again. Gateway first. Oya's gone gateway first every game, so it just makes sense.
I think that also this may be one of the only positions where you can put the spawning pool behind the mineral line. I might be wrong, but
Oh yeah. I forget. I don't. Yeah, I don't think you can do it in every position. This is definitely one of them where you can.
Speaking of which, before we get too far in the game, I wanted to ask Stryker what he thought of those vision blockers. Because in game 1, I remember you had like a pretty strong Hydra lead, and you pulled back to that area, and then just got like stormed. It was like a massacre.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. It has a lot of strategic uses for it, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like it's more of an advantage to the attacker almost than it is the defender. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that, but it seemed like
it could be an advantage for the attacker. Yeah, if you have a contain, then definitely it is.
We have a proxy coming from Oya, Not sure what it's gonna be. Maybe a no. It has to be a gateway, right? But why?
Zergling got scouted it.
Right.
I couldn't see a scouting probe, so I sent the Zergling there.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Strange scouting patterns, probably a proxy. So it looks like he might catch out this one zealot. That's pretty good. And he scouted the proxy, so Oya should be at a bit of an early disadvantage
zealot.
now.
He gets this.
There's no wall here because that pylon is built for the proxy. So
Another zealot.
yeah,
Yeah, if he gets all these zealots, he can probably just rally Lings over.
yeah,
If
and
he's David Speedling yet. Yeah.
well, we don't see
No, not yet.
any other lings building or any other lings. I think he's just gonna try to be annoying with these lings here and see what he can get out of them because
3
he's
zealots
already
so far?
yeah 3 zealots. But he also got the one that was running home, right? So is that 4?
Oh, you
And
might
he-
be right.
No.
But yeah, he's got a strong economy behind this, so Stryker's probably feeling pretty good about this game so far.
Yeah, I think maybe looking at it now, I should have maybe just gone Ling all in because he didn't have a wall, but I just kind of played it safe.
Yeah.
'Cause I had a lot of advantage already.
Thanks, Stryker. Prolong the game as much as possible. Get my money's worth. I'm just kidding, kind of. Well, you know what? Fans and viewers do like long games, but shorter ones can be exciting as well because they're micro-intensive.
Or just full of that delicious cheese.
He's getting a third, and we should have a lair. I would think.
Not yet.
Yeah.
He's but yeah, probably soon. As in like now, I think. Unless he's going for something else.
I think I opted to do hatchery 5 Hydra build for this, so late layer.
Okay. So that so it's I figured it was intentional that you had one guy on gas. I just wasn't sure if you were like saving up gas for something specific or if the one drone on gas gives you something later.
Oh, I think I just forgot to take it off.
Okay.
So yeah, I just took the 3 zealots there, so feeling even better.
Yeah, this is really good for Zerg here. Also more speedlings. Speedlings in the main this time. Only one zealot. Oya has been kind of like has liberally used his zealots pretty much all series. Like in game 1 we saw him use a lot of zealots early on. Of course it wasn't quite the follow-up wasn't necessarily there because of the storms were so good. But here, we see the Lings getting into the main, and if those zealots were just at home, the 3 zealots that he moved out with, this would have been dealt with pretty much no problem. It wouldn't have even got past the wall for sure. So a bit of a mistake.
A lot of damage because he's basically not mining for like the last minute or so.
Yeah, this is massive, and now the Zerg is on the same, basically on even supply, even worker count, and he's up on bases, so like this is pretty much the dream scenario for Zerg from this position. And it looks like 5 hatch, Hydra Den going down, Spire going down, a lot of Lings in production as well, so nothing coming out from Oyaji is really gonna surprise him. And Oya, I thought that the early aggression was going to come back to bite him in game 1, but in this game it definitely looks like it will. He's adding on some gateways now, and he's probably going to go for a 2 base push again, which should be pretty strong, even with the losses he's taken. It'll just all come down to the storms once again.
Yeah, so the vision here makes it hard to move out because he doesn't know if there's a lot of Lings out there. I purposely made it look like I had like maybe 1 Ling or something, and didn't show him like the 12 outside. But yeah, if he were to move out without being sure, he could just get like all his zealots surrounded.
Yeah, that's really rough. Like for an early game contain, like if you know you're well until the Protoss has observers, like because you're not really going to build shuttles, and then observers get sniped so easily. So we're seeing mutas are going to come out. I assume that those are primarily to snipe Templar, so that he can manage the 2-base army a little bit easier. And Corsairs being a little bit annoying on the map. Zealots going down to the 6 o'clock. And I don't know if there's anything there.
It felt like it would do a zealot bad, so I just made Mutas to be completely defended against it.
Yeah. And this really isn't enough zealots to do too much economic damage. We see 1 drone kill, 2 drone kills, but 2 drone kills for 5 zealots, especially when the Protoss is already kind of falling behind the supply ratio that they want. It's a lot to give up for only 2 drones.
So this is going the way that I had imagined. I basically saturated all my minerals, and from here it's just pumping hydras.
Yeah, the economy is really strong, even with the Protoss, but on more bases. And it looks like you're about to take a 4th base down at the icon.
Yeah, I think if you can get by the early game against like 2 gates or whatever, it's not a bad map for Zerg because you got a 4th really fast, and I think Zergs will have an easy time taking bases late game in this map.
Yeah, it's just there's so many, right? With the mineral only being there.
Yeah, and it's kind of like tucked away in the corner. Like you would never be able to get to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's defended by like the mat, like the entrance of the main base, basically.
Yeah, so basically every time you secure another main, you basically can get 4 bases for free.
Yeah.
See, we're seeing an interesting upgrade on the Protoss side, Maelstrom.
Are we? Okay,
That's what
I
that
guess.
is, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see why, because he's got enough Corsairs to deal with the mutas, and Maelstrom isn't particularly amazing against...
I think he's assuming that he's making more mutas, but...
What he really needs is mind control.
Oh dear. What he really needs is an army.
Yeah.
He's currently down 10 supply. Hydra's chipping away at the front here.
Doesn't have enough Templars, unfortunately.
Oh, the other
just
thing
started too.
He just started Storm. Okay, this...
Yeah, he
this
must
is-
have forgotten that. Maybe he misclicked it and got Maelstrom instead. Thought it was Storm.
I don't think so, because the Dark Archon is complete, so the Maelstrom is definitely intentional.
Yeah, good point.
But
I would have just gone in here, but this is another like Protoss favoring aspect of this map. It's the NAT is up, the entrance is on a ramp, so like 973 is like a lot weaker. Hydra Allens are like a lot weaker.
yeah, for sure. Breaking up the ramp would be, especially because you don't know that he doesn't have Storm. So if he has Storm and you try to bust up the ramp, I think you just lose everything. Of course, we know that he has Maelstrom, which is not going to do anything against mutas. Against Hydras. It'll do a lot against mutas. It's just that there aren't enough mutas to really be much of a factor here.
The base does seem a little bit cramped for Protoss.
Well, yeah, part of that is like with any... I think this is like generally an issue with any map where you have the... well, there's a big fight here. I'll finish my thought after. That is a huge Maelstrom and huge Storm on top of it.
Wow.
All the Hydras are dying.
Oh my god, the lurker spawned just in time.
Well,
Gotta run.
Oh my god, I've been watching
Did he
this
not
the
have
wrong
another
way the
storm? He
whole
had a
time.
storm on that.
I was actually really surprised he didn't double storm that, because he would have
Yeah,
killed like
he
4
had
players.
energy too.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
basically panic burrowed.
He's probably saying the same thing to himself afterwards.
I mean, game is hard. It's
Yeah. It looked for a moment like Oya was going to decisively win that battle, but then the lurkers spawned in and it was suddenly turned really bad for him.
Yeah, he's rallying units out to his Maroon's army. I don't know. I feel like he should just pull it back into his base, right?
I don't think he can. He's kind of like got to go through the Zerg in order to get back to his base, and he's just gonna lose these units. Let's see,
Tactics are a little bit confusing. I'm still not used to it.
what's a bit confusing? Sorry?
Like how to get from one place to another on this map. There's like
Okay.
various ledges and alleyways and stuff.
Yeah.
At least
well,
like the spawns here, like my units don't get stuck going out of the natural.
Yeah. That must be most annoying on horizontal spawns for sure. Because you basically can't just rally them to the opponent's natural, which is pretty annoying. But
He
the
was
surprised-
breaking that.
Yeah.
He didn't focus fire here on the lurker.
Yeah,
He did to some extent, I think, but not. It was really tough because once he did it, he had no zealots left to tank the Hydras. He's on a ramp, so he can't really pull the Dragoons back either.
Oh, I think I overcommitted a little bit here. I took a lot of damage from cannons.
Yeah, well, just a few Hydras. But I think that also a Lurker is probably not as efficient DPS against the Dragoon line as Hydras anyway.
I mean, if you get enough of, if you have like at least 3 that are constantly hitting a group of Dragoons.
Yeah,
So
but
good.
I mean, yeah, his Dragoons were just like in a like line, kind of like parallel to where the Lurker was, or perpendicular to the Lurker shooting, so not as effective. It's kind of like when you surround a Lurker like that with Zealots, it's nowhere near as effective, just due to the radius.
I feel like that was a waste of a High Templar there. Or
well,
Archon, rather.
there, but
He runs out of energy.
he
He just
doesn't-
has to have
yeah.
a fighting unit. Yeah.
He doesn't have
Fox is
time to
breaking
get.
out here, but he's out of money in his main, so this
Yeah.
needs to like end the game basically.
Yeah, and he really doesn't have like game-ending type supply, and it looks like our Zerg player can macro back up, even though they're even on supply, and the toss maybe has a stronger army as it stands. Definitely the 5 bases are going to be kicking in here.
I mean,
So
yeah,
the
it's probably his
top
only
is,
way back into this game is to try to just death ball and knock out a base, right? But
Well, I feel like that for that reason, I feel like he's better off going for the main, because all the tech is there. Like, there's no way that.
That's right. Yeah, I think he knows about the 4 o'clock, so he's trying to take it out. But the Zerg doesn't need 4 to win.
Yeah. He just needs Protoss to not take a third, basically.
and not feed away 3 High Templar.
Oh, yeah, this was quite a
Nice.
free. Yeah, so I'm like totally fine giving up that 4th.
Yeah, sure. And there wasn't even any direct.
trading his
It
third for
wasn't
my
like an
4th.
established base or anything. So.
Yeah, I'll make this trade any day. His 3rd for my 4th for sure.
I
But,
feel
like,
like he
he-
should have maybe defended and not even attacked. Try to wait until his expansion was up and hold the high ground.
Well, the issue is the Zerg is too far. Like, the Zerg is ahead on economy and even on army. Like, you kind of don't have a choice, right? Because, like, you need an additional base. And how are you going to hold it if the Zerg makes 2 or 3 more rounds of units?
Exactly. If you win the fight, you have to like snowball and force them to keep making units and pick them off in groups. If you just sit back and defend, you give them a chance to use that economic advantage and just fight you when they want to just crush you.
Yeah, it's tough either way. It's kind of like if you're this behind.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if, I mean, you could try. There's so many OBs out. I don't know if there's OBs in the bases. I mean, you could try some DT thing, but it's, I mean, it's just a lot of gas while you're not putting into a fighting army.
So like one thing that could work though is, anyways, GG. If you manage to like snipe the Zerg expansion and run away with your army, then at that point you can like try to defend. And if the Zerg only commits to building units, maybe you get back into it. But most like the Zerg will have ample time to like realize that they need another base before it. It's just a really hard situation to come back from.
Nicely done, Stryker.
Yeah, I'm glad I
3-1.
wasn't shut out 4-0.
Fuck that, man.
played.
You're top tier Zerg representing North America. We got a best of 7 with Stryker and Oya on the map D's E-Ray. Let's get into game 4.
Game 5.
4. Game 5. Yeah.
Game 5, I'm sorry.
Score 3-1. Oya G leading. Stryker just I guess staved off elimination.
I kept
And,
getting left side, I think. I feel like I got left side every single time.
Yeah, you've been
Yeah.
on the left side.
Yes. But the last 2 games you've been bottom left.
Yep.
And the first 3 top left.
We're
Top
comfortable
left
here.
is not, yeah, top left is not your place.
It went well last game, so
My left side's nice for Zerg, though. I would think. At least for your initial spawning, because you can move all your larvae to the left side.
That is true. The counterpoint is that the right side typically has better mining, like the boosting minerals are usually on the right side.
Okay.
Right.
Or you get those occasional maps where you like have your main, and the minerals are positioned above your
Like
starting
silver.
position. those never feel good.
Yeah, it's a little awkward.
Yeah, I know. I hate above and below.
It also is really awkward when you have if you are the defender and you are above, and your units are spawning below on the outside of your wall. If you're like Terran or Protoss.
So we have a gateway from YAG and an overpool from Stryker. So be interesting to see if Oya throws down a second gateway here. He sent out his probe, so I'm expecting it. There we go, 2 gate.
Yeah, I think 2-gate is really strong on this map.
Yeah. Well, it seems if you get the vertical spawns, it's like, it's so good. And then horizontal, it's like, it's still like above average maybe.
Yeah, it's not as close, but it's still pretty close.
Yeah. But in this game, the Zerglings should be done on time. A little bit of probe harassment in the mineral line. It's a little bit
Plenty
annoying.
in time. He can have. Yeah, he can have what he wants. He'll probably make. My guess is he'll go ahead and just make at least 4 or 5 pairs.
are you gonna stop it this time, Stryker? Let's see.
Stop what?
The 2-gate push.
Oh, the 2-gate? We'll see.
He should hold it this time pretty easily without any. I don't think he'll lose any drones this time.
Oh, Oya's going
He
back.
should be able to catch them out on the map. Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause
But you still have to watch for the Zealot buildup, because it's with 2-gate, it's not only the initial attack that's like challenging, especially on a map where you can take a pocket expansion in the back, right? Because you still need to manage your economy as Zerg, and you need to make sure that you're on top of your lanes.
Yeah, the one good thing about defending 2-gate on this map is there's only one. They can't get to your net without going through your entrance, so
Yeah.
there's essentially like just one place.
Nice round.
nice around.
Oh man.
I never understood the way Zealots can just like moonwalk through the Zerglings like that.
Well, it's because the Zerglings don't close the gap when they're attacking, and the Zealots all move at the same speed, so if they're in a line, they could just like walk out.
Good point.
Because it's just based on how much space is available.
So I guess like speedlings would make that a little less effective.
Yeah.
Oh, you took your gas, man.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I'm not sure why the gas steal
PvT?
though, because in
Yeah, I just
like
took the nat gas, or the pocket gas rather.
yeah.
So
But it seems like you don't really need gas that early anyway. It's probably preventing the link speed though, so that's a bit of a win for 2-gate, but there's a lot of links here.
That was a
link
little
speed's
bit.
even kind of optional, I think, a lot of the time against 2-gate, depending on how you want to take the game.
Look at him get the hell out of there.
Yeah, that looked a little bit bad for Zerg, but all the zealots were damaged from earlier, so I was able to send them off without drone losses.
You got 9,
Yeah.
10 drones right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is yeah, a lot of lings needed to be made,
Yeah.
and the
2-gate
Protoss got to expand behind it, so that's why I think it's a pretty strong opener.
Yeah, it's always a little bit disheartening when you realize you're at half the number of workers while they expanded and are still making workers. It's like,
But you
Also,
get
I
3
don't-
larvae,
you do.
perhaps.
Zerg still has
there's 2
advantages.
links back in the back, or wait, are they? Okay.
I forget if
It's just-
this is tight. Is it? I don't think it is it tight here. The Spore gateway. A lot more lings are being made.
Are we gonna see it?
He's getting link speed too, so I guess he's committing to a lot of links here.
I mean,
Oh,
it's a
no.
lot.
Oh, he got
Yeah, it's
through.
not tight.
I was like, what the fuck?
My God. Yeah.
I think that was lucky by me. I didn't know actually if it was ling tight. If it was, I might have been in big trouble.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, Oyo was like not ready for that to be open.
Well, I hope this works because he got 2 overlords in his base.
There's a lot of links going down, but a lot more coming in. And it looks like Stryker's just going to be flooding links from here.
He's got speedling upgrade.
Yeah, this is looking really bad for Oyo. You can't really get a cannon up. But Stryker does need to clean up some of these units because the Zergling's slowly dying off. But another wave of reinforcements and this should be enough.
So
Just
even
barely.
with this though, the problem is that he already started a cannon in his pocket net. So even if I take out all of these buildings, he still has 2 bases.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, like it's pretty annoying for the Protoss to have to remake the gateways just because they don't have any production for quite some time.
Yep.
Yeah, you get a
So-
free 6 to 8 drones probably off of that.
Definitely pretty nice position for the Zerg here.
I was hoping he
So-
didn't have a cannon, but he had
Yeah.
built it way earlier, so
The worker count still favoring Protoss. So
oh,
Protoss
you can
has
see all
peop-
my lings getting stuck in the mineral line.
Yeah. Oh
At
my god.
7. I was like, this is so
What?
frustrating.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is a problem.
Where have you rally pointed them?
Pointed to the Protoss main.
Yeah.
So after this, I was like,
Yes.
okay, I'm just gonna rally push my my entrance, and then just like ferry them over from there.
Yeah, that's a little annoying.
So I believe I made a Hydralisk then to
Yeah.
go all in basically.
Are you gonna sunken push him here?
I love
Make
these.
Put a
This,
hatchery there.
this was a mistake. Sending the drones at this point was a mistake.
Yeah.
You're just gonna make a hatchery there and just slow push.
Well,
him.
he doesn't need to make a hatchery. There's the spores.
It's true.
Oh,
But
there's
yeah,
no creep there though, so you can't actually build anything. You only get creep if it's like your main.
oh, that's weird.
Yeah, you have to be Zerg in your creep spread.
Yeah, I don't know how that works, but you don't get it if you're not Zerg.
I don't get that.
He's a technical genius. Big
All
ups.
right.
Briefing.
Big brain play. But yeah. So back to our game. It looks like Zerg. Well, oh yeah, it can recover, but he needs to spend his minerals because
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at too. He's got quite a bank here. Still have 20 workers though.
yeah, the issue is where can he build gateways, right? Because now the Hydras come in and they start sniping the gateways that are outside of cannon range, right? So it's like I've been in this situation so many times as Protoss where you let the Zerg pass your wall and you're like, well, I'm ahead in economy, but I can't do anything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you gotta fit the buildings in somehow without getting hit by Hydras.
yeah.
And I made a DP here to try to sneak by and harass my main or something, but I had an overload there, so I was able to stop that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like it's a good play, but it's like the play that every Protoss kind of like almost is forced into, so it's almost expected. But
That's got
yeah,
petrified. And he's upgrading from Forge as well, so the longer this goes, the worse it is for Zerg. You can't
yeah,
win it.
for sure. But now Zerg gets to snipe off these gateways. Zealot's gonna come in and try to prevent that once again. He's killing off some Hydras, but the trade isn't good from the Protoss side here. The Zerg just can get too much of a favorable position as long as he's maintaining outside of cannon range. And yeah, this situation is just so annoying because you're like, okay, well, I'll build another cannon, and then you just kind of have to like slow crawl the cannons out to meet the Hydras, which is basically impossible. Oh, Storm is done, but nice pullback on the Hydras.
Good dodge.
Yeah, and looks like he's going in to kill all the Zealots once again. And the other thing about this situation is that, you know, the units are fighting more or less piecemeal from
Oh my god.
He
the
just-
Hydras.
Bad manner hatchery. Or is it called a good manner hatch?
It felt like I needed it because I wasn't getting rid of the buildings fast enough, so I wanted some like insurance.
Yeah. Yeah, because like if he gets a sunken up, like the Nexus falls, right? But like if he just tries to dive 5 cannons,
Yeah, I
when
was
you
worried
have
if I
to
tried
work
to dive,
around.
it would just storm me and I would just
Yeah.
use all my Hydras. I wanted to get rid of the close cannons to snipe the Nexus.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, this is so annoying as a Protoss player.
Wasted double storm it.
Well, he didn't waste any of the storms really. Like they've all been pretty decent. There's only the first one where he like pulled away very quickly. That one wasn't as good, but still got a couple Hydra kills. The problem is he just can't like get a sizable army, and Zerg trades so efficiently in small numbers, like especially like Hydras against Zealots.
Nice Templar pickoff.
Oh, are
He
you
actually
gonna
has
get
a
it?
decent number of gateways. I think he has like 4 or 5
Yeah.
right now.
You're
Maybe.
making a drone. No, you're making Hydra this in his base.
I mean, the macro is like impressive considering that he doesn't have the ability to place his production structures, right? But at the same time,
From both of them. They just spent
Yeah.
macro half.
it's not going to compare to, you know, Zerg macroing off of hatcheries normally when you're forced to like
Oh my god, he's got a drone in there.
like consider he's had to rebuild 4 gateways, and the cost of those gateways is not as bad as the fact that he wasn't building units out of them.
And the units kind of pull in one by one because they're not coordinated or synced.
Are you going
Yeah.
for a sunken here?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, at this point it was a little gratuitous, I guess.
I don't think it's like bad manner. You're just being safe. That's how
Yeah,
I
I
interpret it.
mean,
Like, he's
I
got a
don't
lot of
have like
gateways up.
I only have like 8 hydras. He had like 7 gateways.
He had a
If I
lot
miss,
of gas too, you know? Wow.
I can use my hydras pretty easily.
Yeah. Good game.
I didn't think
Yeah,
you were
that
going to take that, man.
Yeah, I wasn't sure either until I was able to get my hatchery there.
3-2. The Sanatos. Placed, I think, 3rd. Was it in BSL Season 10 or RCG? My memory fails me. No, I think it was BSL Season 10. Tiebreaker match on the Spore map. We got Stryker
it
joining us.
Oh, it's not tied. I'm behind 3-2.
It's a best of 7.
Yeah.
Where's Stryker on the map? Oh my god.
Top right. But so he finally gets the right hand side, but it is close positions. So can't get everything. So yeah, I'd actually like to see, you know, a really late game PVZ on this map to see if the vision blockers play any role on the rest of the map, or if it's just the ones that are outside the natural that are kind of important.
Yeah, this is also a spawn where you can build a pool on the right side of the minerals. I forget if I do that though.
What's the advantage of doing that?
It prevents zealots from going back there and hiding.
Thank you.
Or probes from dodging your ring.
Oh yeah, so your creep is immediately extended. I see. Very interesting. So Oya going to scout Stryker first. Gonna see that it's an overpool. Oya once again, gateway first.
I actually feel like he could have blocked mine. Like the distances are close enough where I think if you do the regular probe scout, you can deny the pocket net.
Right.
Yeah, that would be pretty annoying. Especially since you have to go. Well, I mean, it's not that far, I guess, for the 3rd.
I just remembered, but too late.
Well, he's probably just focused on harassing the drones, since that's what he's done this entire series.
Pulls back first.
Just a
I think he realized that it's too many lings.
yeah. Scout realizes that overpool 6 lings, no good for 1 zealot. So he's just gonna play defensive for now, wait for a couple more zealots. And I honestly I really like this from Oya because I feel like he threw away like a lot of early zealots in some of the other games, but this time just staying home, making sure he's got those for a later attack.
Yeah.
Quite like that.
I mean, Protoss early game, the numbers of zealots scale really well with the numbers. So like just saving a couple of them and having them for later. I mean, it's really hard at like 6 or 7 minutes to stop a group of 10 zealots.
Yeah, well, you need a good SimCity.
Yeah, for sure. So I feel like just saving them is oftentimes better unless you're sure you can really milk something out.
Yeah. And just testing the boundary of the vision blocker to see how many Zerglings are there. Not enough to break those 3 Zealots unless they move out for sure. So currently at a standoff.
So we've got a lair on the way.
Yeah.
Wonder if we're gonna
Yeah,
see a
Stryker,
spire, or
3
is he
hatch
gonna go
lair.
for a 3-hatch Hydra? Yeah.
Yeah, I did the 3-hatch layer because he wasn't moving out.
Well, it's not gonna be. Yeah, it's not gonna be Hydra. Well,
He could go for 9-7-3 or something like that.
well, you don't build a lair if you're doing 973.
Oh, he lost one of his Zealots on the other way.
Yeah, the Zealot's kind of out of position there, but microing them pretty well. They're decently softened up, so they shouldn't
Yeah,
be able
Oya's
to do
zero
any
micro is
damage.
really good.
Yeah. Well, I was saying, like, game 1, like, Oya was, like, back in the day was known for proxy gating all the time, right? So it stands to reason that his Zealot micro would be outstanding.
I think you do sometimes. I think it just depends on how you want to take it too, but you might still get lair with it because of the needing the overlord speed. If you're
I imagine this is probably 3 hatch Spire into 5 hatch Hydra. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And some
I
links
was
getting
able to
in.
get something by, but it's only, I guess, 3 that survived, and then
Yeah. Well, I noticed the 3 that were trailing kind of like glitched out and didn't go up the ramp properly.
You're getting a lot of probe kills though. Like,
He's got
yeah.
2 so far. Maybe more.
So far, it's pretty
like
good.
that's pretty good for just 2 links.
Does the scout
Well-
matter at all, or you already knew what's going on?
Scout is a good confirmation. Like, I don't see any like mass gateways being built.
Yeah. Oh, we should see that soon though, because Oya seems to like going for that 2 base, 8 gate kind of style. But yeah, I mean, I think that trade was like pretty even. A few, like it was like 6 or Zerglings in total or something like that for 2 probes. Overall,
I mean, it hurts, yeah, when they get like early goons and they kill your scouting overlord, and then just don't get corsairs and just make a ton of gateways, and suddenly there's a giant gateway army moves out.
Yeah, well,
You
the Corsair in the base now is killing overlords, so we had a supply block very briefly there, and it looks like we're gonna have another supply block here for Stryker. And Oya moving out with a small amount of units. He really likes to do this, or he's been doing this series quite a bit. Every time he feels like he can get away with it, he just moves out with, 2 or 3 units and tries to see if he can get any economic damage. And it looks like this time Stryker's not entirely prepared for it. He sees it right away, pulls the drones, just 1 drone loss, but also loses an overlord in the process, and gonna lose the Evo chamber. So that's a serious loss for the Zerg. And Zergling's trapped again in the back.
And they like loop up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little tough
mean, if you
because
think
as
about
Zerg
it,
you
though-
use your hatcheries, right, for offensive units, whereas with Terran or Protoss you would never need to
Yeah.
rally point your command center or Nexus.
I want to make one point though about that. Like, out of all of that, he lost some mining time, like a drone or 2, and then he lost a 75 mineral Evo chamber. Like, he
Yeah,
has
but-
another Evo chamber already.
Yeah,
So-
but you have to factor the investment.
Damage there. The Evo chamber was big because my +1 is like really delayed now.
Yeah, it's a it's not a massive investment, right? 3 zealots and 1 dragoon for 2 drones, a bunch of Zerg units, an Evo chamber, and an overlord. Like that's
Okay.
a pretty good haul for Protoss.
I thought he had another Evo chamber in his main, so that was just like a zoning Evo, more so
Well,
than
it's his carapace that's delayed.
okay. Yeah.
Almost
So instead
60
of-
probes.
Yeah, the economy from Protoss is massive here. The Hydra's gonna move in. He should be able to kill the cannon, but I don't know if he's gonna be able to get much done. One group of units finishing should clean this up.
Yeah, I was already pretty behind by this point, so I just wanted to see if I could do anything with Hydras, but yeah, it's not much I can do.
A couple worker kills. Still, like, it seems to be pretty
5,
worthwhile.
6. That's
Yeah.
not bad. I was wondering
Yeah.
why you didn't kill the Archon, but this
Well,
group of
yeah,
Hydralists achieved something.
this is actually something that we discussed earlier during that other series, is when he went in with the Dark Templar. You know, he really needed to attack the buildings, and I mean, he really needed to attack the economy, and that's what we see Stryker doing here with the Hydras. He knows that if he just attacks the gateways or the one Archon, it's not enough to get him back into a winning position.
We see Oya making use of the right side of the map.
Well, he's got
Stryker
2
going
Dark
to the mill.
Templars over there. I don't know exactly where he's gonna move them to, but some. I don't know how much value this is. The wall at this point is pretty much expendable for Oya. In fact, it might be better for him to get rid of it, just because Protoss mains on. Oh, and the shuttle
There's a
almost
shuttle
goes.
here that I missed.
Yeah.
Look at that, it was
But he does
empty.
get confirmation that it's there, so he's able to pull Hydras over.
Yeah, but
But he
he's
needs an
doesn't have the
overlord.
overlords yet. The Corsairs are,
Otherwise, like, this is not good. I'm like 40 behind.
yeah. Yeah, this is certainly not a good position for Zerg. He's gonna get some worker kills here on the Dark Templar, but it gets cleaned up. Still, the attack going in at the 12 o'clock at the 12 o'clock at the same time. Drones dying at the expansion. It's too much all going on at once, and Oya can do this because he's just got more stuff. So more stuff in more places.
Stryker holds.
That was not a bad hold, but I still just don't have enough, and I just don't have enough drones. I should be fully saturated by now with 6 hatches, but I don't.
Yeah, the
I was only
concept
able
for-
to hold because I cut drones basically.
yeah.
All like army units.
And the thing is, when you're behind, just holding an attack like with an okay trade is not enough. Like if you're even or ahead, like that hold is good, but then given that you're already behind, it just gets you further behind, right? If you just have an okay hold, then
Yeah, drops
everything
you.
stays the
Okay.
same. Yeah. And
This is my Hail Mary like drop play with lurkers.
yeah. If there's no detection, or if you can kill the detection quickly, this could do a lot of damage. And the lurker targeted down pretty quickly, it looks like, but he doesn't have any detection for it. One storm should get rid of it though.
Yeah, I just don't have enough stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we were somewhat even and then I did a big drop, it might have been pretty good, but I don't have enough stuff.
Yeah, if you had like 3 or 4 more lurkers there, for sure, he would have had a hard time dealing with it, because he has no, like, doesn't have any obs, does he?
A lurker drop on the right side where the
Yeah,
probes
going-
were could have probably
Oh yeah,
taken out a lot. It wouldn't have been a game changer.
Not dropped in the right place. It was on the left side instead of the right. That could have made a big difference.
Yeah, yeah.
Or if it was like just 2 lurkers or something, it's like less of an investment, but I don't know.
This army moving out from Oyaji is pretty scary, and another drop looking like it's going out for Stryker. So this drop could be effective because the army is out for Oya, but this base is
Yeah,
dead.
I think he's got to defend the base more so than try to counter drop.
Got a nice little Sim City though.
Yeah, but he doesn't have enough Hydras behind it. Like if he has if he has a full group, okay, he has 2 lurkers. It's still not enough though. They're not spread out.
Yeah, he has plenty to deal with drop. as well at home. So
Oh yeah, it's just too much stuff everywhere for Oya, and
Yeah, it's just the way this matchup is. Whoever has more stuff sometimes tends to just win.
and good game.
Yeah,
That was fun to watch.
that was a fun series.
Yeah, it was a good series and pretty good game too. I think like an interesting thing that I noticed about the vision blockers, specifically relating to like the third base in the 12 o'clock position, is like it's kind of it kind of doesn't really do anything because your buildings are going to start shooting, so the units on the other side don't even need vision to begin with.
Oh, that's an interesting point.
Yeah, because like
Right.
if the sunken shoots, like whether there's an obs or not, you know, Oya's gonna see it, and his army's gonna retaliate, and then it's really only that initial shot that's really like important, because then he'll get zealots in behind the vision blocker, so it's kind of a non-factor in that location.
So final score is 4-2 for Oya. Both these gentlemen will be playing against each other in our tournament. It's kind of fun pairing up, I guess, future tournament players for these small show matches. Hey, Stryker, do you guys like all play each other on ladder once in a while?
sometimes, yeah, I meet them sometimes. Not too often though.
Are those games like meaningful to you? I like to think it's nicer to have like a best of 5, you know. In the case of our tournament, we have 5 whole games, so
Yeah,
it
it's
gives both
different,
players a
sure.
chance.
You don't really prep for like a ladder match because you don't know who you're gonna face, and you don't know the maps. I mean, you know the maps, but they're kind of random. So yeah, I think tournament style is a lot different. You like think ahead of what you're gonna do. If it's best of 5 or something, you think of what builds you're gonna use, like on which game.
Right. And I guess another cool thing I want to mention is even if you were to lose like 2 or 3, you'd come away with $20, and the winner would get, you know, $30 if each
Yeah.
game is worth a minimum of $10. So it's a completely new way of compensating players, and I think it kind of makes sense in its own like way, right? Like for every single game, you should be compensated as opposed to like who wins the show match or who, you know, places first, second, or third. But that logic of like compensating a person for game win, I don't think it was ever a thing in any kind of like competition setting. It might not be a thing in any like game genre, I don't know.
Yeah, this is nice because it encourages everyone to try to win, even if you're not in the top 3. I mean, you're
Right on.
still want to win, but you know, this is like extra motivation.
Yeah.
I mean, some like very high-profile esports tournaments will have prizes for everybody involved, but
Is that
I
right?
think for a lot of them, yeah, like I mean, like the international, everyone usually like, even the lowest team will still get in like a few 10,000s, whereas the top team gets like uh, last year I think it was like 10 million. The number is big, but point being like everybody got something. But
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, but I mean that's like super high level as well. Like I think even ASL does something like it's not just like top. Actually, maybe ASL is just top 4. Now that I think about it.
Like, I know it'd be complicated to try to apply this prize system to, say, you know, a tournament setting, like a non-round robin. It may still be possible in some ways. You might just give a bigger percentage for each game win for people who are like closer to the, you know, final brackets.
Yeah,
I think
like
it's still possible,
further on
though.
you play, like I think there are like tends to be like sometimes like award brackets. So like if you're within this bracket of placement, like 4th, like 5th to 8th place or something like that, you'll get a certain prize or whatnot. So there's incentive to get further, but it's not like you're just completely bombed out. A big deal though, I think, is not having it scale too drastically to where the lion's share goes to the top players and then just a tiny scrap for the bottom
Yeah,
players. I think
right. That's what happens. Everybody plays more or less for free. I know if they're streaming the game, sometimes you get some subs and stuff like that. But
Yeah, that's never good for the competitive environment for a game. It's good to have it to where everybody can make a living.
like with
Yeah.
our thing too, it doesn't disadvantage the so-called top players because they're getting compensated for every single game win. But there's a final cap on how much they can earn. So at like a $3,000 prize pool, I think the maximum a DeWalt could win is about like $600, and he would need to win 55 games basically, because in a 12-man round robin, there would be like he would have 11 show matches, and there would be 55 games. It doesn't sound like a lot of money, but again, like you're getting paid for every single game that you play, and you're playing not too many games. I think the compensation rate is pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.